Imagine a smell so foul that you take the day off work to nurse a headache caused by it. University of Illinois professor Varshney and collaborators from Ensaras teamed up with the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago to develop artificial intelligence to predict when this rotten egg smell would affect the residents of Cook County.
So the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District is an agency chartered by the state to do all the wastewater and stormwater treatment for its service area, which is essentially Cook County in Illinois. Well, Chicago, like every large city in the U.S., struggles to treat the wastewater that the city produces to the standards as dictated by the state through the U.S. EPA regulations.
The Thornton Composite Reservoir, which came online a few years ago, it's a 8 billion gallon stormwater storage reservoir. And shortly after it came online, they started to receive a lot of odor complaints from the neighboring residences. And so that was a problem that they had been struggling with since that reservoir came online.
So this is such a very unique, big system. This is the biggest in the world probably. There is no other example of these kind of reservoir. So initially we thought we'll dose some chemicals, but dosing of those chemicals is very expensive just because of the size of this reservoir.
So we approached the problem first by trying to understand the nature of the problem. So trying to understand how are malodors generated, how do they spread, and what's the nature of human behavior that causes people to perceive the malodors and then further to complain. We were able to not only develop these predictive algorithms that were quite effective 3 days in advance, but also interpretable so that it was clear what actions one should take to mitigate the odors.
Through the analysis and data exploration that we did, it was pretty clear that the source of the odor is the drop shafts and the tunnel system. So rather than going with this really expensive chemical addition system that hadn't been tried and tested at the scale of the MWRD, they are now focused on putting in activated carbon filter that will absorb that H2S from the drop shafts itself, which is a much more cost-effective solution and something that's actually been used in the past in similar situations. So it's a less sort of risky and more cost-effective solution, and they've sort of veered towards that based on the results of some of our analysis.